Detroit and Cleveland. That's Super Bowl Sunday for me.
The dog pound will be getting rowdy, but the Lions fans are pretty loud also.
I think something we've been waiting for a long time.
I'm a Lions fan, but if the Lions don't get in, I hope the Browns do.
The whole town of Detroit is going to explode. And Cleveland's going to explode too.
I think it would just be very excited to even go to the Super Bowl for the first time.
This is just the beginning.
Can you believe it? It's a day many of us thought would never come. The Cleveland Browns and Detroit Lions, both in the NFL playoffs, both on the road to the Super Bowl. At least hopeful fans can hope. Here's a look at the playoff picture right now. Browns are in the wild card of the AFC. They take on the Texans Saturday in Houston. If they win, it's on to Baltimore, probably against the Ravens. The Lions have won their division, first time in 30 years, but still a wild card game at home in Detroit Sunday against the Rams. And while there's plenty of excitement in the air heading to the playoffs, well, there's an alert day in the forecast. John Birchfield tracking what you need to know for this wintry weekend. John?
Hey, Dan, still got that snow coming down. Looking on downtown Toledo, visibility could be a little bit reduced as we head into the evening commute, dinner plans, and Friday night activities. Now, temperature-wise, we are above freezing right now, and that is leading to some of the major roadways just being wet, but a lot of the neighborhood streets, side roads, and roads less traveled are snow-covered. Snow still coming down steadily in Lucas and Wood counties, and we've been giving you a snapshot of road conditions throughout the early evening. 475 at Hill. Most of those major interstates are just wet at this point, but with the visibility being lower, give extra space and make sure those headlights are on. The bigger picture shows a strong area of low pressure moving just to the northwest of us, and as temperatures climb, we are expected to transition to some chilly raindrops later on this evening. Still a couple more hours of that snow before we see rain infiltrate the area, and behind that, the big story for tonight and tomorrow is going to be the wind. I'll let you know how strong the winds will gust coming up in just a few minutes, Dan.
John, thanks. Back to the NFL now. Browns and Lions in the playoffs. How about that? It's the first time in 70 years both teams have won at least 10 games. First time ever each has won at least 11. And the first time in history, all three Lake Erie teams, Browns, Lions, Bills, have made the playoffs. Here's a look at the AFC playoff picture. Browns get the Texans in the wild card matchup tomorrow. Just the third time since 1999 for the Browns in the playoffs. The winner heads to Baltimore, probably. Dolphins and Chiefs and Steelers and Bills round out the conference contenders. For the Browns, it's been a storied season, but not without challenges. How about nearly 5 different starting quarterbacks?
You just couldn't make this up. All through training camp, the Browns were finally going to see what their $230 million man could do. Deshaun Watson out much of last year from NFL suspension. Finally starts the season. Browns win in week 1, beating the Bengals, but losing in week 2 to the Steelers, and all-pro running back Nick Chubb goes down against Pittsburgh. Well, Watson would suffer a shoulder injury in week 3, so Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the rookie from UCLA, had to start in week 4 against the Ravens. Browns lose 28-3, wasn't that close. And the 49ers were next on the schedule. Third quarterback this season, P.J. Walker got the start. He was turnover prone, but the Browns held him off 19-17. Watson returns back for the Cardinals game and made it look easy. 2 touchdowns, 27-0 win, and in week 10 a stunner, down 24-9 third quarter to the Ravens in Baltimore. Turning point of the season as a team. Watson leads a rally with big plays and a game-winning field goal by Hopkins. 33-31 Browns final. But by then, more injuries would follow. Offensive line, defense, and Watson finally done for the season, a displaced fracture in his shoulder. So DTR would lead a white knuckler 13-10 over the Steelers, but then a loss at Denver. And time to find another quarterback. Enter Joe Flacco, Super Bowl champ with the Ravens, 38 years old. Nobody wanted him this year till the Browns called. So Flacco settled in, making some big plays, wins over the Jags, Bears, Texans, and Jets. 11-6 record going into Week 17. Browns rested their starters against the Bengals and brought in Jeff Driscoll as their 5th starting quarterback this year. And a big loss on Sunday with no real fallout. On to the playoffs.
Now the other side of the NFL is the NFC. Playoff picture now clear. The Lions win the division 12-5. They take on the Rams at Ford Field to move on. Eagles and Buccaneers go at it too. Winner takes on San Francisco. Green Bay and Dallas round out the NFC. Now, to say they've struggled in the past might be an understatement. Lions didn't win in the regular season at all in 2008. 0-16. Noel Blumel takes us through the last half a decade of Detroit football.
6-10, 3-12, 5-11, 3-13. Then last season, Detroit comes out ahead, 9-8.
To go through all the hard times of the 0-16 team, and now finally getting a coaching staff in there and bringing in the players and getting a new mentality. This isn't the same old Lions anymore.
Die-hard fans continued to show up, and the expectations coming into this season were high. The Lions did not disappoint.
As far as most people that are alive, this is the greatest time to be a fan of both these teams. Michigan playing for a national championship. Lions 12 wins for the first time since '92.
Fans had high hopes and expectations as the season started, and Detroit did it. For the first time since 1993, the Lions take the top spot in their division.
I think they are going to win the playoff game. I think their defense is going to be the difference, and I think they're going to get home. Aiden Hutchinson's going to get home a lot, and I think that Jared's going to have a good game. I feel good about it.
And while the team is taking it one game at a time, fans are eyeing the potential for that first Super Bowl ring.
Super Bowl all the way.
All the way. It's going to be, I think we could make the Super Bowl. It's very possible. It's going to be a tough way to get there, but we can do it.
Ford Field is no stranger to championship games. It was home to Super Bowl 40 back in 2006. Steelers won their 5th championship there over the Seahawks. Stadium just hosted the MAC championship a few weeks ago, and while the Rockets did not win in the Motor City, the Lions hope the first ever playoff game in Detroit will be different. That's right, Ford Field has stood since August of 2002, and since the Lions clinched NFC North, we'll see the biggest home game in 2 decades for the Lions.